Hello, welcome to the Basketball Soapbox. I'm your host, Daniel Daly. Thank you for joining me on this one. Also, if you guys like the content that you're seeing and engaging, that helps me out a lot. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. But in this one, we're going to get into the second half of the NBA season. NBA All Star Weekend has been this weekend. A lot of exciting events. The All Star game is going to be on Sunday. But I want to look forward to the Western Conference now and the Eastern Conference and basically look at the playing teams and the playoff teams and get the status of where these teams are and just give an idea of what I think of these teams going into the second half of the season. Excuse me. And really just kind of break down what I think these teams need to do going forward and their overall outlook of their teams. But we can get into it. We can start with the Western Conference here. Um, a lot of things going on here. A lot of teams that are now in the play-in here that had obviously have championship aspirations, trying to have playoff aspirations. I'm not going to really be talking about the San Antonio Spurs and Houston Rockets, not because they're in the Wimbenyama sweepstakes. They're not really trying to make the playoffs, so I'm not really going to be talking about them. They have some interesting players that are playing really well, but they're not trying to win. They're trying to lose and get into at the best lottery odds as they should be. That obviously makes sense. um, but let's get into it here. Starting off with New Orleans, who is 30 and 29 and have really been hit with the injury bug there. Over the course of the season, they were fighting through CJ McCollum's injuries, Brandon Ingram's injuries, but the injury to Zion Williamson has been the biggest setback for this team. This team was at first place in the Western Conference at the quarter mark of the NBA season, and now they are seventh. Really taking a step back, and without Zion, they are 7-15 without Zion, and that has them resulted into the play-in spot where they were first seed in one of the biggest surprises to start the NBA season. They have really just fallen off, and of course, we have they're trying to work Brandon Ingram back after that toe injury and that concussion injury that he had. CJ McCollum has been carrying them a little bit there, and they're just trying to figure it out right now and stay afloat. And that's unfortunate because Zion was playing great, the team was playing great, and to see them just fall off like that, I think they lost like 10 or 11 in a row. Um, that's damaging in the NBA. You can't have a streak like that. You can have a streak of maybe 4 or 5 and kind of turn it around, but double digit losses, I don't remember the last time I've seen that. That's not a lottery team. The Pelicans are obviously better than that, but missing Zion with this hamstring injury, hopefully he can come back in a timely manner and give this team a boost that they desperately need. Um, we'll see about that. Moving on to Minnesota, who is 30 and 30, 31 and 30. Um, Basically making a big change, getting rid of D'Angelo Russell there and bringing in Mike Conley in that three-team deal with LA and Utah, um, and really just changing the dynamic of the team. D'Angelo Russell was actually playing well for them up until the trade deadline. But obviously they needed something a little different there, tinkering a little bit more of a playmaker there. And Mike Conley, hopefully they can do that. I don't know if that's going to help them um, push that. I don't know how much Mike Conley has left to impact the Timberwolves at this point in time. But really, they're just trying to turn over the keys to Anthony Edwards while he is there and have him try to uh, boost his second half going into the second half of the season there and try to boost their playoff hopes and try to get out of the seventh seed, out of the play in potentially. And they're really going to be relying on him a lot until Carl Anthony Towns comes back. Rudy Gobert has been playing solid for them, but of course, we always have those damaging images of him not being able to finish down low and sometimes getting lost on, well, not even lost on defense, just getting kind of switched out there on defense. So the Timberwolves are trying to really figure that out and really try to put it together. And they're hoping that Mike Conley can come in and help them boost their second half chances to improve their playoff seeding. Moving on, we have the Golden State Warriors, who are 500 right now, who are 29 and 29, have one of the worst records on the road in the NBA, and have just been damaging, really damaging. And 7 and 22 on the road is opposite of their home record, which is 22 and 7. Obviously, they've been missing Steph Curry. Andrew Wiggins has missed some time before. And this team has really just been trying to stay afloat with Curry out and trying to find ways to put it all together. When you really think about it, that's like they have been one of the best offensive teams, of course, with Steph Curry, Jordan Poole, Andrew Wiggins, and Klay Thompson. And obviously have the best starting five, I believe, by point differential, whatever the case may be. Have one of the best starting fives with Steph Curry, Klay, Wiggins, Draymond Green, and Kevon Looney. And that's fine. And they've been trying to figure out this bench thing. But the biggest thing to me with the setback with the Golden State Warriors has been their defense. They're one of the worst defensive teams in the league. And when you can't get back to that defensive identity that was the Golden State Warriors, yes, we know Steph Curry and the Splash Brothers really lead that team by example. Draymond Green has been the anchor on defense. But ever since that championship run, the thing that has been lacking this season has been the defensive end of the ball. And they try to make some trades there, getting Gary Payton the second back, trying to bring Kevin Knox, trying to figure that out and get back to some perimeter defense there that can make it a little bit easier on their big men. We'll see how that goes into the second half of the season. But Golden State obviously going to try to make a run here, try to get out of the play-in spot, and try to improve their playoff chances heading into the second half of the season. OKC. Moving on to OKC, who is 28 and 29, has been one of the more pleasant surprises of the NBA this season. SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Josh Giddey, who is a versatile, I want to say point guard. He's obviously the point guard of that team. Really doing playmaking duties for that team. The Jalen Williamsons, especially the one that plays on the wing, is playing really good with his potential there. Lorenzo Dort. OKC really just led by SGA, Josh Giddey, and they've really been putting it together. And OKC finding all these draft picks that become quality players. They continuously do that. And this team doesn't even have Chet Holmgren. This is a team that I thought would have been tanking entering the season and really not even trying to do anything. But obviously they're trying to make a push for the playoffs and especially the play-in, which I think will be a sweet spot for them because they can still be in the lottery and still potentially improve, get some experience for their young players. That's something that's encouraging for that organization that has been basically just tanking since Russell Westbrook and Paul George left. The Kevin Durant has left. They haven't been the same. But to see this progress made with that really, really young core, that's a good surprise. That's awesome to see for that franchise. Moving on to Utah, who was one of the better teams to start the season, has kind of fallen back to earth at 29 and 31. Obviously trading Mike Conley. And what is there to say about this team? This team basically should be trying. I thought they would have been having a fire sale at the trade deadline. They got rid of Mike Conley. Excuse me. And trying to find their way there. And I think they're going to take a step back, and I think they're going to probably fall out of the play-in. They're obviously going to try to make the play-in, especially with the start of the season that they had. But what's going to be interesting to see what they do in the second half, if they just pull the plug and just say, hey, we're just going to get out of it and turn it and let the ping pong balls that determine our faith next season, or really try to push it. And we'll see what happens there with them. Portland Trailblazers. Dame Lillard just won the 3-point contest. Congratulations to him. Portland getting Matisse Thybulle in a trade with Philadelphia. I think there was a 3-team trade. I can't remember the other team. But this team here is basically going to, of course, try to push to get into the playoffs. I thought they should have blew it up with Dame and tried to move him, trying to get as many assets as him. And I just feel like it's time for Dame to leave Portland. Obviously, he's going to feel different right now. We always know how he talks about Portland and being there and being loyal, doing it in Portland. And that's respectable. But it's just like this team doesn't look like it has I'm not going to say it doesn't have a direction. They have some pieces there with Shaedon Sharpe, Anthony Simons. Jeremy Grant has been a nice, solid production piece for them. But overall, where his trajectory is in his career, he should be competing for Western Conference Finals appearances, championships, getting to that point, and to see them not even in the playoff picture, out of that playoff picture, is alarming and unfortunate for Dame. And it's like, man, it's time to leave. And it's really time to leave. And I don't know what places he would go. I was just thinking off the top of my head, maybe Orlando. They need somebody that's actually a star down there and can really turn things around with them. With those young guys, I feel like they can potentially – I'm not saying they're going to, of course, be fucking championship aspirations, but I just feel like that would be a good team for him. Maybe Miami, of course, is always another option with their culture. He will fit that. Um, Brooklyn, would Brooklyn do that? I don't know. But just in general, it's just like he needs to get out of there. I don't know where's the perfect spot for him, but I feel like Dame just needs to get out of there. And the most intriguing team in the playing situation here at 27 and 32, the Los Angeles Lakers, led by LeBron James and Anthony Davis. And if they can ever get well, especially if Anthony Davis can get healthy and back to that MVP level, we'll see what they are able to do. But adding Malik Beasley, D'Angelo Russell, bringing brought back to LA, and also adding Mo Bamba and Rui Hachimura before the trade deadline, and see what those guys can do. The team fits a little bit better there, fit wise, shooting wise, a little bit more spacing, a little bit more NBA players. It's going to be interesting to see what they do going into the second half of the season, especially with LeBron trying to make that playoff push, Anthony Davis trying to make that playoff push. They have to figure out a way to get Anthony Davis back going, get him energized. Looks like he's been lackadaisical a little bit. And we'll see what they're able to do heading into the second half of the season. They're obviously going to try to push to get out of the play-in. And with the Western Conference so close there, LA is only, 4 games out of the play-in? That's not unrealistic, especially with the moves Dallas made and the risk that they're taking. Phoenix is going to be trying to implement Kevin Durant in there. It's going to be an interesting couple of weeks here to see how this is going to go with the Western Conference because everything is so close, and that's why the Lakers made those type of trades. That's why Minnesota's taking a chance with Mike Conley. It's not over for this team. Like the Western Conference is close. Every game matters now heading to after the All-Star break. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.